story is about David and Goliath. David was the youngest son of Jesse from the tribe of Judah. David was in charge of his father's flock while his other brothers were in the army. His father must have viewed him as a trustworthy and responsible to give him this role. Since the life of a shepherd involves a lot of walking through the valleys and hills, protecting his sheep from wild animals and always aware of their needs. In reality, David was in God's training ground, learning to be a king. He was the one God has chosen, the man after God's own heart. While looking after the sheep, David was also playing the harp, always making psalms to the Lord, saying, "O God, you are my God. I shall seek you earnestly. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh yearns for you. And in a dry and weary land where there is no water. Thus I have seen you in a sanctuary to see your power and glory. Because your love and kindness is better than life, my lips will praise you." David knew the constant care needed to be good shepherd, and thus it had provided a rich metaphor for God's constant care for him in Psalms 23, saying, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Although I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." When David declared his confidence in God through difficult times, he said in Psalm 27, "The Lord is my light and salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is my strength of my life. Whom shall I be afraid of? When the wicked and my enemies come upon me to eat my flesh, they stumble and fall. Though an army should come against me, I shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this I will be confident."
This is what the Lord says. "Cursed is the one who trusts in man, who depends on flesh for his strength, and whose heart turns away from the Lord. He will be like a bush in the wastelands. He will not see prosperity when it comes. He will dwell in the parched places of the desert, in a salt land where no one lives. But blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. He will be like a tree planted by the water, that sends out its roots by the stream. It does not fear when heat comes. Its leaves are always green. It has no worries in a year of drought, and never fails to bear fruit." Jeremiah 17:5-8. David rejected the flesh and put his hope in the power of God. He depended on God 100%. Goliath was a giant full of pride. He challenged the Israelites twice a day per 40 days to send out a champion of their own to decide the outcome in single combat. But the king was afraid.
Slaves of a nameless god, once again I bring you the challenge of Goliath of God, champion of the Philistines. Where is your faith in your God? Where is your trust in his protection? You boast that he can move mountains, and yet he cannot move one man among you to defend his honor. 6 times have we challenged you to put forward a champion, and 6 times have you cowered in silence. Send out a champion, and whoever wins the combat wins the day for his...
Jesse said to his son David, "Take this ephah of roasted grain and these 10 loaves of bread for your brothers, and hurry to their camp, taking on these 10 cheeses to the commander of the unit. See how your brothers are and bring back some assurance from them."
Where is your pride going to get you? You have come to watch the battle, haven't you? Where have you left our father's herd of sheep?
Who can fight me? You, or even you?
I can. Your servant will fight this Philistine. Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep.
When a lion or a bear came and carried the sheep off the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth.
Go, and the Lord be with you.
David convinced the king that he believes God would help him defeat the giant and shared his experience. David took off the whole armor and felt comfortable wearing his usual clothes. Goliath felt undermined and disrespected when he saw that such a little boy was attempting to confront him.
Am I a dog who you throw rocks and sticks at me? Come over here and I'll feed your flesh to the birds and the wild animals.
You came against me with a sword and a spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel. Today I'll give you the dead body of the Philistine army to the birds, wild animals, and the whole world. Will know that there is a God in Israel. The battle is the Lord's, and He will give all of you into our hands.
تي حسني مكان